When was your court case rigged before you ever walked in? Mine was decided the second the Whitmore family hired the biggest firm in the county to prosecute a horseshoer. Their son Chase sat at that table in a sling and a soft neck collar, looking like he'd survived a car wreck. His mother sat behind him, dabbing her eyes. His father is on the county planning commission and has his name on the wing of a hospital. The judge kept looking at me like I was something that had crawled into his courtroom. Here's what actually happened. I'm a farrier, 31, own my rig, shoe about 400 head across 3 counties. Last May, I was working a schooling show, doing a lost shoe in the back aisle of the barn, when I heard a horse going off in the wash rack. Chase Whitmore had come out of a bad round. He had a gray gelding cross-tied and he was hitting him in the face with a crop. Not once. Over and over, backhand, while he yanked on the lead. A girl who worked there was standing in the doorway telling him to stop and he wasn't hearing her. I walked over with my hands where he could see them and asked him to put the crop down. That's all I said. I've been around horse people my whole life and I know how that goes if you come in hot. He turned around and told me nobody talks to him at his own barn. I said the horse was done and I'd be happy to untack him and he could go get some air. Then he swung the crop at my face. It caught my ear. When I stepped back, he came at me with a fist and I got a hand up and pushed him off me. One hand. It wasn't a punch and it wasn't hard, but he was in slick-soled boots on wet concrete and he went backward over a muck bucket and hit the wash rack wall with his shoulder and his elbow. Spiral fracture and a torn labrum. The ambulance came. 3 people watched the whole thing and every one of them worked for his trainer. By the time it got to court, it was assault causing serious bodily injury. And the story they told was that I attacked a young man over a training dispute because I'd been drinking. I've never had a drink in my life. My father did enough for both of us. Their witnesses were rehearsed. Same phrases from all 3, almost word for word. Their attorney had that whole room in his pocket and the judge sustained every objection they made and overruled every single one of ours. My public defender was a decent guy carrying about 90 cases. He told me straight that we were losing. I sat there doing the math on what a felony does to a man who works alone in other people's barns for a living. Nobody's letting a convicted assault case work around their kids and their horses. Then the door at the back opened. It was the girl from the wash rack. Her name was Marisol. She was 19, worked as a groom there in the summers, and she asked the judge for permission to testify as a direct witness. The Whitmore's attorney objected before she finished the sentence. She said she had recorded evidence and she'd already filed it with the State Animal Welfare Division in April, and she gave the judge the case number. Turns out she'd started recording every time Chase went in the barn, because it was the 4th time she'd seen him do that to a horse, and nobody would listen to a 19-year-old working student. She was 2 semesters into a veterinary program, and she'd been keeping dates, times, and photographs since February. The video had all of it. The crop coming down on that gelding's face 11 times. Me walking up with empty hands. My voice, calm, asking him to stop. Him swinging on me first. The whole thing, from a phone propped on a tack trunk 12 feet away. The judge watched it twice. The second time, Chase forgot about his neck and turned all the way around to look at his father. Their attorney tried to argue the recording was made without consent, and Marisol answered him herself, in open court, with the statute and the exception for a public commercial facility. She had it printed out. She'd been ready for that objection. The case was dismissed that afternoon. The judge ordered restitution for my legal costs and my lost work, and he said a few things to the Whitmore's attorney that I'd frame if I could. The welfare case went forward on its own. The association suspended Chase for 3 years, and their barn lost 2 of its biggest clients within a month. Afterward, out in the hallway, I asked Marisol why she came. She could have kept her head down and finished her semester. She said she'd been building that file since February, and nobody had ever taken it seriously. Then she said she wasn't going to sit there and watch them bury the one person who actually walked in that door.